Good evening. So, thanks, Payam, for inviting for this panel discussion. In fact, this is a very tricky discussion because since morning we started discussing about what is AI. Then we moved into how do we scale AI. Now we are talking about what after AI. That's where the trickiness comes into picture. But nevertheless, we are in that journey. In fact, we've been doing this involuntarily. The automations are happening involuntarily, but now we are marking it as an AI because we're just adding intelligence to that. Now, the second very important aspect is how do we democratize AI to better utilize? Like, for example, we've been seeing the evolution of the societies, building of the new spaces across, and the industry also evolving. And the industry is coming closer to the society even. For example, now the data center. Hyderabad is becoming today says that it's top, one of the, it's listing in the top 30 data center choice of location. We've been right now with a capacity of 157 megawatt, this thing, and then now we are going to a pipeline capacity of around 800 megawatts, right? And after Mumbai, and now, in fact, the difference is coming closer. The US Ashburn is roughly around 6,000 megawatts. Now, the inflection which is happening and the transformation which is happening so fast, involuntarily the AI and this automation are embedded into it, right? Now, with this context, I would like to, play a theme in the panel discussion where I want to have a freewheeling conversations. Okay, don't want to be pointed questions though, but now, first of all, I would like to start with, it's a diverse, departments here. So we'd like to start with how much AI, which we are, infusing in our respective departments, right? And how much we are ready for the AI, and then we are handling that, regular day-to-day routine before we jump into the actual specific questions around that. So I would like to just start with, with Archana ma'am, and then, Rajshekhar. Yeah.
Thanks, Srini, for giving me the first opportunity. And I would take your permission to just address the gathering. When he says how much AI is police adopting or how much AI ready is police, I would like to put this question to you. How many of you had the pleasure of going to police station ever in your lives? How many of you have visited police station? So you pray every day, oh God, please save me from police. Let me never go to police station. When I was SP of a district, I was working in the field. Then people whoever used to come to me, they used to be very, very aggrieved. With so much of sadness, they told me, ma'am, we never knew in our lives we would have to see the face of a police station. So that is, I put this question to you because you are the public. We are public servants. Public service delivery should be our religion, is our religion. And Nagrikaha Devo Bhavaha. Citizens are God to us. So, how much AI do you feel when you go to police station, whoever visited? Do you feel that police is AI ready? Or police is adopting AI? How many of you feel that police is AI ready or police is adopting AI? Yes, so you feel police is AI ready and adopting AI? That is some cybercrime police station in Telangana? Okay. Did you visit in Warangal? Okay. So, that is what the question is, that when we say how AI ready is police, how AI ready is policing, then I must tell you that AI in policing has not to be adopted in a boardroom, has not to be adopted in a server room. It has to be adopted right in the police station, right at the ground. I'll say my institution is AI ready when not any consultant, but my constable, right, the person who is responsible for the last mile delivery, who is responsible for dealing with you people, who is responsible for listening to your complaints and acting to them, that person is as comfortable in using AI as any consultant or any of the tech experts which I see sitting in front of me. So when we talk of AI, there are many difficulties and challenges in policing. Pardon? There are many difficulties and challenges. For example, when I was thinking, brainstorming, I was looking after the IT and modernization, digitization of Gujarat Police for 5 years before joining the Central Reserve Paramilitary Forces, where today I am supervising the counter-insurgency operations in Jammu and Kashmir. So I used to brainstorm every day how we can use AI. You know, we are lagging behind. Everybody is using AI. How do I use? Then we took the problem statements. Control room. Control room, police control room is flooded with complaints. People complain. You know what is the police control room number? Yes, anyone? 100. So when you dial 100, it is either busy, you know, you have to wait for 20 minutes, 25 minutes like this. So I thought, you know, how can we use AI? You will be surprised that we cannot even use IVRS. How would you feel if you dial a police control room and IVRS answers? If there is a death in your neighborhood or in your house, dial 1. If there is a burglary, dial 2. If there is a kidnap in your family, dial 3. Would you like that? How many of you would like that? You would like that? No. Yes. I don't think anyone who is in panic, anyone who wants a person to pick up the phone or a person in the front to hear your complaint, your grievance, you are so aggrieved in a panic when you reach a police station. I don't think if you go to the police station, you find a kiosk, you know, AI-ready kiosk, which is there, okay, register your complaint, you know, click that thing, do that. No. EFIRs, we have introduced EFIRs in most of the states. National Crime Records Bureau has introduced EFIR, made it compulsory. Not a success. Because when a person goes to the police station, you don't need robots. You don't need AI. You need a person, as the minister said rightly, compassion. You need a compassionate person who can listen to you, who can answer your queries. Then, can we ever adopt AI in police? So we can adopt AI in police, but in very, very limited sense. And that is the question, the challenge I put up to you, that please suggest solutions. How can we adopt AI? I tried adopting AI, predictive policing, crime analytics. Gujarat, official language is Gujarati. IBM came with their tool, CDAC came with their tool. Tried taking out the text from the FIRs, trying to predict a pattern, Gujarati language, AI fails. So this is where we start with, I think, Srini, that how ready are we to adopt, and also, even if we adopt, is it of any use to citizens to whom we are here to deliver? Thank you.
Thank you. In fact, that's a good context. Adopting it, having its challenges, addressing the challenge as well. Okay. I think you have a point.
I don't think anybody could have laid out the context of the entire conversation better than her. What a remarkable and such a passionate, impactful journey. A lot of us are always on the other side. We're always sometimes looking at what is not getting done. But what is getting done is also what this conversation is about. And how do we make sure that incrementally it gets better? So I just came back from Lucknow, and we had the opportunity to look at where policing, they've just opened a new forensics university. They've opened a new center which is integrating 3 smart city initiatives. So normally when you look at smart policing, smart cities, a lot of us who are not in the inside see them as very large screens with fancy computers, with real-time intelligence of traffic. For us, if you go beyond AI, at the end of the day, what do citizens, industries, all of us look for? We look for a stable law and order scenario so that the business of business can go about doing their thing. And this is where we saw remarkable use cases And taking a leaf from where Ashnaji left off, there are 2 or 3 challenges that a lot of us are dealing with when it comes to human trafficking, when it comes to aging populations, when it comes to ensuring that our dadi, nani, all the elders in the house are not getting left behind. And as we look at eventually an aging population, this is a far bigger travesty and a crisis in Japan, where you have people who are much, much older. They have a scenario where elders are leaving their houses and for hours they're found missing. And then, so in terms of physical infrastructure, Srini, what they're doing is they're setting up bus stops which are acting like rest stops. They're putting bands. They're looking at cameras that are looking facial analytics. What we discovered in Lucknow through an experiment was when, a 5-year-old goes missing, using AI, what would that child look like after 15 years from now? So experiments such as these, when you're looking at real life use cases, and the idea came out of a hackathon which college students. So experiential anecdotes which become use cases that actually make the lives of citizens better. And that is where, the challenges of policing, that can you make sure that you are helping the police help you better? So this is where a lot of learning comes in very, very handy. If an incident happens, so we work a lot with young women, and when they come online, sometimes they get bullied. And this is where a program like Cyber Sheroes is something that we started with, working with Delhi police, ensuring that you are teaching young people how to preserve evidence, how to make sure that they were aware of their rights when they were coming online. So the citizen-centric AI, which also has the human in the loop and also has empathy, becomes a great case study to take this conversation forward.
Fantastic. Experiential learning, I would say future digital twin. Not the present digital twin. I think it's a future digital twin. I think I would like to just pass on to Krishna sir. With your background of Police Research and Bureau, yes, right? How the AI is becoming pervasive in our law and order across, the system.
Yeah, myself is working in the Bureau of Police Research and Training, and Development under the Minister of Home Affairs. This one, ours is an organization which makes the standard operating procedures and set up standards. It is called as the Police Think Tank. The BPR&D is think. So as far as the crime prevention and the crime detection, these are the two major things. What about the crime prevention and the crime detection? Obviously, we have the facial recognition technology and all those things. For example, if somebody authority is coming and we need to know what are the gathering people we are coming, and we need to check within themselves also that which are the faces that are already in the database. So going above this one, there may be one use case that, for example, in the AI-enabled CCTV cameras, for example, in the traffic junction, somebody has bailed a jump in Delhi High Court, or somebody is wanted in a Delhi case. He come to Hyderabad, and the moment he comes to the Hyderabad, and in the traffic junction, this AI-enabled cameras found him, and if the AI-enabled cameras have the data sets already there, that these are the persons who are wanted, maybe even the automatic number plate recognition, vehicle or something, then immediately pop-up will be go to the police station and say that, yes, this is the person who has coming. But what happens now is that, now the cameras are there, now there is an integrated command control center, there the people are sitting and they are analyzing, then only it is coming. So it is a big this one. But why we are not able to improve this one is that the CCTV cameras are not Indian made. They are the Chinese made. So the data sovereignty is also important for this one. This is the number one. Number two, these days the cyber crimes are very high, especially with the usage of the mule accounts. So the Reserve Bank of India Innovation Hub, RBIH, has come up with one solution called AI Mule Hunter. Now the mule accounts are so much in this one that are used for the layering of the money which has come from the digital payment frauds or the cyber frauds. Now with the AI Mule Hunter, what it is doing is that it is collecting the data from the police stations, it is collecting from the I4C, from the FIU, Financial Intelligence Units, DRA, Directorate of Revenue Intelligence, and which are the suspected mule accounts, which are the suspected SIM numbers. And accordingly, it is identifying these are the mule accounts and all those things. At the same time, Department of Telematics has come up with one software called ASTR. This is the artificial intelligence and facial recognition enabled one software where it enables from the pictures that are being used for the SIMs. It identify whether the SIM is genuine or not. In one of the cases, we found that one particular photo has been photoshopped for 1,000 times. The same person is used as a 65-year-old, 30-year-old, and all those things using the Photoshop and taken the SIM numbers and enabled the cyber crimes, this one. So now the ASTR, now developed by the Department of Telematics, we have identified about almost 1 crore fake SIM cards in the country. So this is another one thing that has been there. For example, the traffic violations. Now the traffic violations in Karnataka, also Bangalore-Mysore highway, this much amount has to be taken so that you are not overspeeding. In Kerala also there is a AI-enabled cameras where there is no need of manpower, that will only see that whether you have a seat belt or something else. You take into the further distance. For example, a person has come up with a motorbike and he has jumped the signal or some traffic violations. Just take the picture of the number plate, take the photo of him and you will feed it, and it will get the automatically fetch the details from the road transport officer. Who is this person and what is the plate number? And automatically it sends challenge and whatever this one. This can be the another area that we can see that especially the crime detection or the crime this one. Now the RBI again has come up with one proposal called delayed 1 hour payments. Now what happens is that there are so many sophisticated emails or some sophisticated phishing attacks, links that comes to your mobile, that you click that one and it says that you are there and it will take into the remote access trojans. What is that called remote access trojans means? When you click something phishing link, it downloads some of the softwares called RATs or called the TeamViewer or the AnyDesk or something else, which takes your mobile into their control. The mobile is with you, but whatever the passwords come you, it will be with the accused, and he gets all those things, and that's how they, without taking the OTPs or the passwords from you, they are stealing the money. So this is one thing. The RBI, of course, it is in the nascent stage only. They asked the comments from the different stakeholders. Why not all the digital payments which are made for a new link, for a suspiciated link, or somebody links which are already under suspect register, and made 1 hour delay. That means to say that that is more than 10,000 rupees. You sent 15,000 rupees for a new link or something, new bank account or something else. It will only be realized after 1 hour. Before that, if the person says that, I sent to the wrong number and all those things, he can get back that amount. But now what happening is that now you will send the number, soon the amount goes to the mule account, and it gets to layer in thousands accounts. 1 lakh will get into 1,000 accounts, and again 1,000 each, again it will get in, and layering is very difficult. Again the AI comes into the picture. So going above all these things, now why not to invent the AI tools also? Now, for example, the money before transacting me from another person, let the AI discover whether I am sending it to the proper person. And soon it will block that whether that it is a suspicious account. And also from the layered accounts, which is the account where it gone and all those things which has to be stopped then and there only. This is another area of this one. Not only in the police, even in the income tax. Now what is happening in the income tax, we are all filed from July 31st. The income tax automatically fetching the details from the income tax, your annual account statement, annual income statement, everything. I heard that in coming years there will be no income tax filing at all, because the AI-enabled bots will automatically generate what is your profit and loss, what is your from the stock market, from various mutual funds and all those things, and it will only file the income tax, and you only has to say yes or no. And that is the one thing that is going the income tax in the, just for an example, out of the police also this one. As far as since research and training and concerned, research, now the BPR&D into research, we have one task in our hand. What is the task? For example, there are so many 302 murder cases. Now it is a section 63 in the new BNS. Now what happens? What are the acquittal judgments in the under the murder case? What are the grounds of judgment? So we will take this one into the AI-enabled this one. When I am preparing the charge sheet or when I am preparing the case diary, let the AI-enabled bots, it leads the investigating officer. See, if you put this one, this is appreciable in the court. This is appreciable in so-and-so court and all those things. So in the judgments as well. For example, what is in the constitutional courts like the High Court and the Supreme Court, the famous lawyers are doing. They are telling, Telangana High Court has said like this, UP High Court has said this. They are just putting the case studies in and putting the judge that the judgment should be in my favor. Now, why not you put a AI software and it will only see this is the judgment from the past so many millions of cases, this appreciable evidence or this is not the appreciable evidence. Let me give a proper judgment on this one. Of course, now the AI almost given 90-95%. This is not a rolled out this one also. Even in training also, we are already using this in some way. Yesterday I was talking to one of the company person, he was telling a very good thing. For example, these are the persons who come for training. Now before they come in, let us take all the pictures and associate the names. and there is a AI-enabled bot which will give the training, and somebody raise the hand, for example, myself, and it will say that, yes, Rajesh Ryan, what is your question? The AI itself will ask the question. I will ask a question, this is my question, and it has already some embedded answers, all these things, this is the answer for you. If it is beyond that limit, then the human can continue in this one. Though these kind of research and training is also going on in the police department for the varied, for this one. Obviously, Madam has stated about in the CRPF, what are the signal and all those things. In the Northeast, what happens is that there are 17 tribes in Nagaland. 17 tribes have the 17 different languages. When I am intercepting some calls, I am into operations, I am getting some 79A interception calls and all those things. 17 major languages. Now, how to know that one? There is a software called Bhashini and all you know. Now, real time on this one, let the intelligence get translated to this one so that it will be useful for the this one. And also the accounts also. Now you join the accounts, every account is the call detail record and the internet protocol detail record. Now what is happening? For example, a person is in Hyderabad, his account is in Hyderabad, bank account, and for the call detail record says that he is in very much in Hyderabad. But the amount is taken withdrawal from Dubai or Delhi, which is not possible. Then immediately stop it. Isn't it? This can be possible through the AI generated, but it is very quick and all those things which can be possible from the AI, this one. In the other things, with already by the police organizations, is a simulation exercise, you put one side AI-enabled cybercrimes will be moved, another one is asked to solve this one. That's what we call it as the white hackers and the red hackers, and the companies are doing. One team that is enabled AI-enabled crimes, all these things, hacking or ransomware and all these. That's why now the government of India has come up with all the departments, this one, that for the government departments, their websites has to be conducted cyber audit twice in a year. We have one meeting there. Now, the most of our websites are not good. That is one of the things. We have the empaneled the cyber audit teams all over India in the MHA empaneled. So it is very important to this one. Another thing that the BPR&D is taking this, you all companies are sitting in this one. We have one day called Company Demonstration Day. If your company is making anything good for the police department, whether it is the hardware or the software, there is a modernization division under the BPR&D, Bureau of Police Research and Training. You write it to us that my company is doing such and such product and this is good for the police. Then we will call for a 15-minute presentation on a particular day. You come over there, demonstrate your product, give you a PPT, and if it is good, then we will take the expert opinion, and then we will set it to the other important agencies. If it is a bulletproof project, then I may send it to CRPF. If it is a drone, then I can send it to BSF for standard. If it is certified by the BPR&D means, yes, it is almost a very high quality and all those things. Because the BPR&D is the one which sets the standards for the police and all those things. These are the major areas and all those things. Still, we may explore many more things in the future. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Prolific research. I think you are the entire data bank for the entire law and order team to really support that entire people who are on the field. Now, I'd just like to move on to Saurav. In fact, he handles the entire Power Finance Corporation, the RDSS scheme. In fact, he's the person who has really handled the entire patient data during the COVID time. The entire data war room was under his ambit. And that's where, the entire, the criticalness of the data. We have really seen how much terrible the situations were when we are all in COVID times. And every day we see how many numbers going up, down, and what's happening. I think it would have been coming from his office. Now, I would like just turn the, mic to Saurav, just to explain us where exactly, we were infused into the so-called the largest schemes in the energy sector, right? And then the impact of data, because you have really touched and felt the data, because every day the dashboard really made sense for us, sitting at our bedrooms or in our drawing rooms. But that is something which is very, very crucial. I mean, basically, I would like to hear from you, your experience and then, your understanding of infusion of AA into your space.
Thank you, Srini. I'd like to thank the organizers, the organizing group and the government of Telangana for this opportunity. I'll focus mostly on the present role, that is the energy sector. So currently I am looking after a scheme called Revamped Distribution Sector Scheme, and the scheme is basically, it has the twin goals of infusing administrative reforms in state power departments, as also ensuring revenue stability and having a larger goal of bringing down losses and making the sector viable. So there has been a sequence of schemes that the federal government has launched for state discoms. It started from the unbundling of the discoms after Electricity Act in 2003. And then we had the initial goal of network sufficiency, availability of power to everyone, universalization of power, reliability of power, quality of power. Many of these goals have been met fully, or it's always a work in progress in some way. Now we have come to a phase where power is available, it's there. Now we have to ensure that the power we are receiving should be high quality power, anytime power. At the same time, it should be within the kind of cost so that it is affordable for the consumer, as well as it is a major input for all industries. If we want our industries to be competitive, they should remain in the race for exports. We need to ensure that this input is brought in at the least possible cost. To that effect, the Government of India launched a scheme called Revamped Distribution Sector Scheme in 2022, and the target was to bring down losses and affix smart meters. So this is the interesting part where we have got into big data. So the sector as a whole in the last 10, 15 years had a lot of data. We had SCADA systems, DMS, OMS. So we had a lot of endpoints where we were generating data, but with meters, the numbers have gone up. As of now, we are installing something like 1 lakh meters every day. And by now, we have 7 to 8 crore meters. So there's a lot of interval data that is generated. To give you an understanding that we take 44 attributes every 15 minutes, so 96 data packets. So the challenge we feel, is not even the data or the availability of data. One is the data hygiene, obviously, because everything that comes after AI or analytics will follow the data hygiene or the quality of data that we are getting. So that was one challenge that we are working on, to ensure that the data we get is of the required quality, because all the decision making that happens afterwards hinges on the original data quality, the raw data that is coming in. Overall, what we are looking at, one is the energy demand that is coming from the AI sector as a whole. So before the compute comes energy, we are looking at a built-up of almost 25, 30 gigawatts that will come by 2032. The focus is that we provide more clean energy around the clock. So we are trying to tie up more RTC, more FDRE contracts so that this energy that we are using for data does not in itself becomes a reason, it does not has any kind of environmental cost. Otherwise, this data which is flowing in, now we are looking at the model building, we have reached the model building stage. For example, in power sector, one of the major costs was overbuild or underbuild of network lines. And there are places where we don't need we don't have sufficient load, yet we end up building a line because probably the best path that comes out of our understanding is something which is which might be optimized by using data. So we are using more and more data analytics and AI tools while we are building a new line. We already had some tools, but with the kind of data that is flowing in, and now the data that is flowing in is more real time. The other thing is when we are buying power in the everyday market, a distribution company schedules power depending upon what is the requirement for the next day. So for years, we had started using the weather data, the meteorology, and some other factors, seasonality, to factor in this data. So now we are able to forecast this much better. So the waste is getting less and less with passing time. So this is the supply side. On the demand side, we are actually looking at change of human behavior. So we have introduced time of day tariffs in states, initially for the industries, now for the domestic consumers also. There are times, so the power electron is not a uniform unit. It has its own spatio-temporal cost. Power unit in day is cheaper than night now. And similarly, a power unit which is produced closer to the consumption sector is cheaper than a power unit which is created elsewhere and has to use the entire transmission network. So when we are going for behavior modification and demand flexibility, we have started using time of day tariffs. So consumers can start, there are certain industries which have a scheduled load. We are trying to shift those loads to hours when the power is cheapest for the DISCOM to buy, because the distribution company generally has a tariff which is uniform across hours. So we are trying to change that so that it has an impact on the behavior. The other thing is we are trying to solve the supply side problem also by using storage and things, but this, on this demand side, we are using behavior modification tools. In this, AI is coming in handy. We are looking at what are the kind of appliances that are running in a household, for example. We are looking at what appliances can be shut down at what hours. So this is something we are doing behind the scenes right now. We are building something called the India Energy Stack. This is something that has been done in the financial space earlier in form of the UPI. So the objective is to standardize the unit of power in a similar fashion, and we create a platform. We don't want to create a product ourselves. There is plenty of private enterprise in the country to you make use of it. So once we give a layer, once we give a standard model which is interoperable, so as the government, as the policy system, our main focus is to create systems. That systems should be interoperable, they should talk to each other, the data must be understood to each other. So starting from data hygiene to interoperability and easy communication, so that so the standards, the protocol, the stack, this is what the Ministry of Power, Government of India is right now focusing on. Our understanding is once we have these things ready, there is enough entrepreneurship in the country to take on this opportunity and make use of it. One of the challenges we face in many of the procurement processes in AI as of now is that while we know that if we use AI to analyze data and build better products, there is going to be a certain benefit. The outcome is visible, the output is obvious. But because the baselining is not very easy, the demand is shifting every day. Every year the demand is shifting. So how do you fix a baseline on which a product has to get output if there is a revenue share model that has to be brought in? And in these, at least in AI procurement in power, we have realized that revenue share is actually a better model, but it is more difficult to procure. So the other model is obviously going for a standard cost solution or procuring the way we were always procuring IT. But as a sector as a whole, we have moved to a more service model. Most of our products, including the smart meter or SCADA systems, what we had realized earlier was we were buying products, and for the next 5 years or 3 years, as long as the AMC or CMC was valid, it was working fine. After that, we were not able to probably maintain it at times. And at the same time, I mean, when you need something like analytics or using that data, it's always better, I mean, that you have a separate support team. So this service model also takes away the cost of initial capex. Most of our models are TOTEX now instead of the capex model, and the cost is divided over a life cycle. So even this analytics and everything becomes a service level agreement between the vendor and the government. So that is how we have taken care of the expertise gap, while our objective is ultimately that the state system should be robust enough to take over these services. And we believe that can happen in a few years. But at the same time, I mean, till this maturity happens, so while the digital maturity happens, we are having these vendors or we are having these setups to take care of these challenges. Now, it's also very interesting that there are other government departments which are coming forward, like Jal Jeevan Mission, and there are other government departments which are interested in this data because they want to measure their own services, whether the operator of Jal Jeevan Mission is using the electricity at the right time, whether the O&M is being done, whether the pumping is happening at the right time. So I think that is possible with every kind of social sector data. We have a lot of interval data here, and every sector is generating its own set of data. So this harmonization or interoperability between sectors also is going to be very useful in the years to come. Thank you.
Perfect. Data hygiene, AI stack, and interoperability. And in fact, you know, you're closely touching to Ashwin Vaishnav's vision of the AI stack of, you know, infra, hyperscaler, and then app layer, and then the user layer. I think once we go to the infra layer, that's where when you put the AI there, and that's where the economics of AI really works out there. And now the shift in gear to we've been seeing, you know, the evolution of industry, evolution of technology, evolution of multiple things. Now she has a different problem.
Srini, I would just like to add, because this point, data hygiene, which he said, data hygiene is very important because data is the bread and butter of AI. You need data to train AI. So this is for all those people who are building upon or who are trying to innovate on the products for policing, video analytics and all there, because many people used to come to me with their video analytics software and, you know, to go disappointed because they never tested positive. So one of the, for you people that when he talks about data hygiene, for the people, for the companies who are interested in building video analytics for policing, just remember in police, a photograph is taken of a convict when a convict is arrested, when a person is arrested. And then never again in life, again the photograph would be taken when that person is arrested again. So you are dealing with the photographs which have been taken 15 years back, 20 years back, and they are not HD pictures. So whenever you train your models in AI and come to the police or BPR&D to demonstrate your products, do remember that you have to find out the solutions to deal with such photographs, and you should be able to identify that person. The photographs taken is not a HD photograph, and also it has been taken maybe 10 years back, 15 years back, 20 years back when that person was arrested. So this is the data hygiene which is, very important, and it is not possible at all to go for a police person to go again with a camera and again click those persons which were arrested 10 years back, 15 years back, just because the facial recognition softwares, they need the fresh data for training.
No, I couldn't stop you because you have been facing that problem now. I mean, that's the reason I couldn't really stop you. But just moving the gate to Deepthi. So the problem which now she's facing is building a new city, right? Totally a new ecosystem. I mean, a couple of new cities which have been built in Middle East, New York City, and other places where the entire building of that city has been stalled because of multiple reasons. Now, it's not an easy challenge on our plate, but just wanted to hear from you basically how you are geared up for that, right? And then, planning to, infuse, or rather, you are leverage AI to make your work easy, or rather make it a bit productive, Deepthi. Yeah, over to you.
I'll stick to the, thank you Srini Garu firstly, and I'll stick to the topic that you've given for the panel also. I'm the Joint CP, Traffic of Future City Police Commissionerate. Future City Commissionerate it's the newly created commissionerate, the large area of RR district between the ORR and RRR, for those who do not know, with about 7 radial roads connecting them, all national highways or state highways. It's totally greenfield, planned city project with futuristic land use zonation. Like you have mentioned, we have tremendous opportunity here. We are looking at AI, advanced AI, I would like to say agentic AI, and we want to build systems which are cyber resilient. Now, world over, I would think, or from whatever we understand about AI, only 5% or less of the potential of AI has been exploited as on today. How clever and creative you are with designing use cases and prioritizing them to advance organizational or state goals is important with the limited resources and cyber resilience levels that we have. Not to forget, AI is data hungry, power hungry, and even water thirsty. Okay, cyber resilience, let me talk about it because that is what we want to incorporate in our systems.
Go ahead.
Is like running business as usual despite breaches. It is one step ahead of cybersecurity. Now for these, the things that we need are clean data backup and recovery, edge computing or distributed processing, which increases cyber resilience, sovereign models, like you're having your own LLMs, they increase cyber resilience for sensitive and private data. Physical isolation protocols in network failure scenarios, interagency protocols in cyber emergencies. I'll give you a few examples where I have envisioned, or we as a team have envisioned how we are going to leverage AI. Crowd dynamics monitoring and strategic planning. Unfortunately, we have witnessed in the last 1 year or 1.5 years, we have witnessed several stampede situations in the country. These can be averted very, very well with strategic planning by prevention and mitigation of dangerous density spikes, crowd density spikes. But again, richness of data and pattern recognition is very useful, which is provided by how we utilize AI. Now again, traffic density forecast and enabling seamless traffic navigation through intelligent traffic management systems that use video analytics largely. This is where we leverage AI. There is one favorite topic for me, which is black spots analysis. Black spot is an area defined by Ministry of Road Transport and Highways, where more than 5 deaths have occurred in the last 3 years. So fatalities keep occurring. There is some faulty thing in the road engineering which we need to identify and rectify immediately, but that doesn't happen, which is why black spots exist. So in analysis and with the data analysis that is available to us using AI, we can definitely improve the situation. And there is this high risk identification and prioritized tracking of offenders, vehicles, etc. We can use using ANPR cameras for identifying crime vehicles, etc. Like a person may be having like many traffic challans, but he's just wandering. He can be tracked and he can be taken to a next level of enforcing our punitive action, so that things are having deterrence. And adaptive verification is something which we are looking at, which is nothing but having tighter checks with suspicious behavior. You don't have to do your multi-layer security check whenever you as a person or a system, a cyber system, to enter another bigger system. So to make things faster and seamless, and also to prevent identity theft, therefore making systems again cyber resilient. These are a few examples, but there is no end to this. I want to let others also speak, so thank you so much.
No.
Yeah.
Cyber resilience, in fact, that's a important topic, because that's a proactive thing than a cyber threat. That's something which I think that's one of the evolution of how we are enabling AI in our daily part of our life. Now, I would like to move on to Rahul, where groups becoming crowds, crowds becoming mobs. We've been seeing that time and again. Now, how have you been handling this? I mean, this is something which is learning to all of us, and that's, of course, your day job, though, but it's a learning to us. I mean, I would like to just seek your experiences and share your, how AI is pervasive in your space of work in Delhi, to manage the entire, operations there out there, Rahul. Over to you.
Thank you, Srini. I am DCP of Northeast District of Delhi. So here in Northeast District, it is a very crime-prone, highly dense area. And also, you also heard about Northeast riots, which happened in 2020. So there are a lot of issues and sensitivity in that area. And also, it is a bigger interstate border with UP, so a lot of influx of people. So whenever we have any kind of gatherings, it becomes imperative upon us to ensure the safety of the place, ensure the entry exits are adequately spaced out, and even the build-up of the crowd is also monitored well. In this, we use different analytics also, but again, here the ethical issues also come into play. When it comes to using AI and any kind of video analytics when with respect to crowd management, first thing is about the crowd measurement, which I think you should be used very broadly, and it's actually meant for the safety of the people. So keeping from the perspective of the person itself, we should ensure that the crowd, whenever it is overwhelming, we should make enough measures to control the entry and exit of it, and ensure that the safety of the person is given prime importance. Next comes the incident documentation, the whole documentation of the thing. That itself will help us to identify any kind of issues which can bring and can become a further any riotous situation or any kind of uncontrolled mob. So those kind of documentation will really help us in timestamping the whole events, and also a timeline can be made out of the different videographs which we have, where different documentation happens, not only from the CCTV footages themselves, but also body-worn cameras and mobile phone. Nowadays is the time of social media, so and even press reporters will be there. So enough cameras will be there all around, and bringing all them together and ensuring a timeline itself is a very Herculean task to document the event. So that is actually helpful for both us and also for the people who are there, because that gives them a proof that whether they were present there or not, any wrong implication also will be not there. So that can also be used. But again here, the ethical concern is about transparency, so that everyone knows what is happening, how we have done with foolproof logging and backtracking of where it is origin is from exactly. Next point, which is of a bigger ethical concern, is about identification of a person. So that becomes should be used narrowly, and it should be used only with the cases where a criminal antecedent is there. We have a database as per our CRPI Act that we actually document different persons who are arrested in our cases, be it preventive arrest or even the case of any criminal case where we arrest, where we take their photographs from different profiles, and also we take their biometric, and also iris scan, also we take their biometric data. So this information is used against persons who are having a predisposed notion that a criminal antecedent person may arrive at that place and may create any havoc or any kind of incident. So those kind of things are there. But again, this should be used narrowly because there is ethical concerns there involved. In these three aspects, we should ensure that a different level of authorization should be used. No one should use it just randomly. A proper documentation and even trail should be there. Even the record maintained in 3 different scenarios should be different, and also retention period for each of them should be also should be adequately documented, so that as and when it is not required, we should dispose it off. And also when it comes to this kind of law and order issues, a preparation to the event actually matters a lot. We usually talk about, when we talk about these kind of analytics, we usually forget about what all preparation goes into place for any kind of law and order arrangement. For example, a place like this, we should know how much is the total capacity of this place, how many entry exits are there, what would be exit routes, where all you need to deploy our police personnel, even fire extinguishers, and any other kind of contingencies which you may think of. In these all aspects, we can again incorporate AI, and it will be very useful to ensure that any kind of contingencies, how to handle and how to have a better influx and outflux of the crowd. Again, when it comes to crowd, for example, any kind of gathering at a large gathering in a public space, usually the scale at which it becomes big is usually uncontrolled. I mean, you will not able to anticipate it well, and sometimes it becomes overwhelming. For example, if we have an estimate about 1,000 people coming here, and all of a sudden within a couple of hours there are other 2,000 people outside waiting. So we cannot just think that the things will remain like that. It may happen in less, again, couple of hours, 10,000 people may come. So the influx of people becomes so overwhelming that the personnel present on the ground will not be able to manage it. So that kind of scenarios can happen, and we should use AI, and we are using AI to ensure that how fastly the crowd is gathering. This is used especially in big places of gathering, like protest sites, which are designated protest sites, and especially in Delhi, where we have our own installed CCTV cameras, and we do this kind of analytics to see how much the profile of the people, it's the demographic profile of the people, and also how the crowd itself is bulging up in space, across the space and time, how it is coming up, so that we can know from where people are coming in and where we can adequately deploy our people, so that we can ensure that the crowd doesn't get beyond our control. Another aspect which I want to talk about with respect to using AI, when another topic has come out with respect to data integrity, I want to just reflect on that. Police data is not as standardized than what is used in a private industry. I have worked as a prior 2 years of experience in a private firm. I know how the things are. It's a very robust and very well-defined way of collecting data and even documentation. We usually spend a lot of time in documentation in private, when I was in private firm. But again, when it comes to police, even though our documentation is still robust, but again, problem is respect to standardization. Even the names, for example, different database which we have doesn't have a single identifier for a person. One may occupy a phone number, another may occupy an Aadhaar number, something else. So this kind of connection of the data becomes a big challenge. So when whosoever is making any model for us, I would request them to see how the police databases are, how different databases are there. For example, PCR calls is one, FIR is another, complaints is another. So different databases which we have. And again, some are handwritten, some are typed. So these kind of differences do come, and how well our these models can take up is our issue. So model, I would say model is not particularly an issue because when these particular databases are converted into a standardized format and then fed into the model, I believe the models which are there right now are much more advanced and they are able to handle it. But the problem is with respect to how the data is actually able to use it. Another, I want to talk about another ethical concern about people, and people, if the facial recognition happens of a person, and they think that that is actually finding, but it should not. I mean, any kind of handling of identification of a person through AI, facial recognition technology also, that is actually lead. It is never ever a pinpointed or conclusive report. So somebody is identified here, present here. So any police officer would actually do a further verification of it, whether he has a travel records here, have a room occupancy here, whether his location is here. So these kind of corroborative evidences are gathered, and only then the person is identified. It is never ever a finding. It's only about a lead. So I want to I just want to address upon these specific things. And again, with respect to day-to-day life, I use when it comes to policing, there are two type of, for example, as madam has told, that you have to segregate some parts which cannot be handled with AI, and there are some parts which can be handled in AI. And also in that, we need to see which part of the data can be is open source, openly available, and which is a sensitive information, because we have a lot of information as stakeholders of the public's information which they give on the onus that we will keep the data safe. For example, any minor information is there that we need to ensure that it is not fed into the AI just like that. So what I have done in my own personal capacity is that first I use the self-hosted AI to remove the personally identifiable information, and then use that information. Again, I audited myself from my team, by my team, and then use that data and use it on the AI models to generate hotspots, even heat maps, and then effectively use them for patrolling and picketing. So that actually helped us in ensuring that robbery and snatching in the area is controlled, and at the same time not ensuring that the caller's information is not fed into it. And also using judgments, various judgments. What happens is in our northeast region, there are different hundreds of FIRs were registered during northeast riots. Now what happens is our investigating officers usually sometimes they don't go or don't apprise the courts well. So these kind of number of judgments come on the same day for my whole district. To identify any kind of adverse opinion on my IO, I have to see all the judgments. That becomes a mammoth task. So using the interns which I got from I4C, what they have developed, and through my guidance, is that they scraped all the data from the judgment from the e-court portal, and from that they summarize it and see that is there any adverse order. Because for any kind of order where the DCP's intervention is asked, they are a chain of judgments before, 4 or 5 judgments, where the adverse opinion is on the investigating officer. So that kind of help is usually I get from the AI, so that whenever a second or third instance happens, I immediately pinpoint it to the concerned IO and ensure that in the next hearing he performs better. So this is how I use it in my day-to-day life, and these are the factors. Thank you once again.
Perfect. Data prudence and the unbiased AI comes from the data prudence. The AI doesn't give an unbiased one if the data prudence itself is not there. So I think it leads to that. But with the paucity of time, Sai, I would like to really request you. In fact, you're SP in one of the Telangana Cybersecurity Bureau, and the top 10 things which on your list, which you've been focusing on and making sure the society is up there to arrest any kind of this kind of cyber crimes. We would like to just hear from you what are the leading practices or best practices you've been following there. Maybe over to you.
Thank you, Srini Garu. So with regard to the AI practices that Cybersecurity Bureau is doing, I have been working in cybercrime since past 1 year, and this 1 year has been instrumental in allowing people to know what a cybercrime is. The cybercrime, the AI that we use at Cybersecurity Bureau is majorly the voice bot that we have collaborated and we have deployed. And this voice bot actually, everyone knows 1930 is the national helpline number for reporting cybercrimes. But what really changed here is the waiting time used to be more than 30 minutes also. So this, by introducing the voice bot, the AI agent talks like a human, And then it is also used in the 3 languages. It is good in the all 3 languages. We have trained it that way, the LLM. So Telugu, Hindi, and also the English. Hindi, when it came to Hindi, it is a challenge. We have the Hindi and the Urdu Hindi. So that also it could handle. And that way, we have been quite successful in bringing down the time to 0. So from 20 to 30 minutes of waiting time, we have brought down. This has been introduced about 4 months ago. And we have brought down the time to 0, which will enable the call. It's not, I'm not saying that the agents have been removed, the call agents are still there. We take that because when there is a loss, it just not needs, there is a process of law, but then it also needs that human empathetic effect. Else, it's like crores and crores of money is lost and the person is really traumatized as to how much will be recovered and how much is, I mean, all that is the stress on that person's part. So the human angle is still there, but AI we are only using to speeden up the help from the human angle. So that is more important, not isolating the human angle, but enhancing the human angle, the way we work in police. And not just that, we are also using AI in a chat bot. Many of these transactions which are reported, 1930, everyone knows, is a reporting channel. So all the transactions that are there, probably many transactions are an year old or more than that, and there will be at least every complaint will have at least 10 to 15 transactions, bank transactions. So the numbers, reading those numbers and all, it is again a task for the person. So he is reliving that pain. So anyone who has been to a police station, as ma'am has asked, is made to relive that pain again. They have been through the pain, but then they again have to relive the pain. So that we thought can be avoided. So here all they have to do is upload their transactions into the WhatsApp messages, forward us those WhatsApp messages, and the chatbot will scrape that and make it automatic so that there is more accuracy, because everyone knows in the cybercrime, it is the blocking and put on hold which is important. So as soon as we can do that, there is a little better chance at recovery. So instead of that manual thing, that is where we are using the AI. And the other aspect where we are using AI is the child sexual exploitation content. So that is where we, in collaboration with I4C, have set up a lab, special lab, and with ICP also. Here we scrape the content. Here we have actually developed an AI tool called Seaside, which is being deployed all India through I4C. So here, if you know what is the adult content, what is the child content, child pornography, that is being segregated. And not just that, when it comes to the content, the persons who are watching it, the persons who have to segregate otherwise manually, they are also being put through a lot of trauma. No one would like to watch it just to segregate. So that sorting, it's almost like the Harry Potter movie, the sorting hat puts in adult or in the child. That way we are able to trace it, and the tool that we use will help us trace where this has originated, whether India or abroad, and if India, which state, and which state has to take action. Here again, the normal AI tools which every state I'm sure are contemplating on using is, we are using it whether they are repeat offenders, collection of their data and everything. And there is another police assistant called Sentinel and the AI wrap that we are building. It is still in the building stage. And that is where we want to standardize. As ma'am and sir have told before me, the data is as good as it is fed. So that feeding part, what is going into which column, how much ever human error that we can take it away, that we are trying to, so that the normal FIRs and all these things are standard processes, if fed into a system which will allow which will remove the manual work of a police officer and put him to a better use. In a sense, like what and where we have to target on going and arresting or going and the counseling parts that we have to be there present, that all the time can be saved by replacing AI with the human. So that is another aspect that is under development. And apart from that, as Telangana Police, just on 5th, the 112 dial, it's not dial 100 anymore, it is dial 112, a national-wide number which is being promoted, has been launched even in Telangana. So 112 envisages fire, no separate number for police, no separate number for fire, no separate number for disaster management, and everything together has been envisaged in 112. And this way it will, the number volume is about 4 lakh calls a day, which again is humanly impossible for how many number of agents that we put. And to not to belittle anyone's problem, but then some problems need a priority help, and that way the fire, the ambulance need, all those are prioritized. Here AI is being used for sorting and for dispatching the vehicles, as well as for tracking the vehicles which are going to help them. That way also the integrated command control is integrated with many cameras and the traffic men who are manning it, so that the vehicle reaches their fastest way. That also is being done. And also in matters of crowd control, nowadays we see flash mobs, not just to agitate, but even an event. We know that an event like recent matches where India won, sudden influx of crowds onto the roads. So all these things also are being monitored through the cameras and being analyzed, so that we know where will be the culmination point, where can be the cutoff routes, and where they can be diversified and better managed. So that is where AI is also being used. And as you said, security is an important aspect. So right now, Telangana Police, since we are custodians of a lot of sensitive data, though cloud is cheaper for storage and all, we are still contemplating as custodians, are we ready to let go of that? Is it safe and all? So that part also we are contemplating. And the security part, the standard, what has to be done is what we are taking care of. And right now we are still being old school and depending on the servers. Though that's expensive, we are still depending on servers for the only aspect of security to be taken care of. Thank you.
Thank you. I think there's a real depth in that. I think the kind of human element you have really brought in from an AI standpoint, it is not just the process driven or automation driven. That is something which we are trying to put intelligence artificially, right? That's where you bring the human element of that. Sovereign cloud is another a solution for you. But just moving on to Jitesh, one of the pioneer discom who have gathered the digital currency of putting S4 systems much ahead of any other discoms in India. So you've been standardizing the process across. But what's life after that? How AI can really make it better, right? So maybe a quick thing, with the paucity of time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Srini Garu. So I'll be lightning fast. So power department, generally people remember us only on 2 occasions, when the power goes off or they look at the power bill, right? So, and we want to be reasonable when we give the bill, and we don't want to have any interruptions. So this is our use case, right? And then everything flows back from that point. So what we have done is, we have looked at, from my perspective, AI has only 2 type of bucket use cases. One where it deals with volumes of data, huge amount of data, that is where one can use it. And second one is where it is repetitive, where a human mind would go numb. So these are the points where we have used it. So for example, for tracking and moving applications from one bucket to another. So you apply to me for a service, there will be no paper movement. You need not go to one desk, mera application ka kya hua, kal aana, saab abhi lunch ko gaye. That won't happen. Everything moves with a digital stamp, time stamp, and you can track where the application is going. It is done on time. Secondly, what we have done is very recently, our IT team, our DE also is here, Jyotirmay Garu. He and her team, Director Project Shivaji, what they have done is, first of all, data has to be usable. So in July month, what we did was linking consumer to the transformer and the transformer to the feeders and to substation. So you give me your consumer number, I can tell you where your electrons are coming from, right up to the generator. So this gives me unique capability. Now when you call me, you say that there is some interruption on my line. I first check, is the feeder on? If the feeder is on, then it's a transformer level problem. I check if there is any other call that has come from the same transformer. So I triangulate and I tell there is a team coming to that structure. It will be solved in these many minutes. If the feeder is off, I'll tell you that feeder is off. Probably there is some fault or maybe a tree has fallen or something. And then you will get back the supply in these many hours. So this has become possible because we did the groundwork of linking this, creating this layer. So somewhere I think AI won't take off unless that hard work is done, right? So another thing that we have done is now once we have the whole network map, we plan capacity enhancement in a better way. So I don't take up haphazard network enhancement. I do it in a very clean, reasoned way. And lastly, I track what are my losses. So I can improve my loss reduction in a better way. So all this is done to empower all my team right up to the last level. My assistant engineer is using AI tools and right up to top level. So we have empowered everyone. It's not just for the top level management. So every Sunday, we pull data on interruptions, on complaints, triangulate, and we create analytical reports, which goes right up to the AE level. So the AE also looks at his task, and then he says, okay, I need to focus my energies on these points. So I'll give an example, like we had a requirement where we had to go through 12,000 court cases to create some report and give a reply. So there were we fished out 5,000 PDF files. Now it's not possible with a legal team of 10 people. We just extracted the operative part out of it, and we could do it in 2 hours. So that kind of capability enhancement is there. But on the other hand, now we get representations which are very cleanly written because they are all AI generated. So I feel that bots are chatting with each other. The applicant is chatting with my bot. So it's good in ways, but end of the day, AI always gives a disclaimer. I could be wrong. In fact, many times we pinpoint and say, this is where you missed. It simply says, I'm sorry, you are right, I'll recalculate. So I think we should take AI with a pinch of salt, maybe buckets of salt, but we should not bank upon it, and we should find our way. We should navigate. So to all the companies who are offering us solutions, I would only say one thing. We prefer not to have an umbrella kind of a solution. We want use cases. So that is where the value is there. Thank you.
Perfect. I mean, this is the, your democracy will stop, when my nose starts. So this is where, we also need to be cautious about it. While we, I think for the positive of time, but upon one request, so where I've really seen, we have been doing that from a use case for field operations, but what is that? A layer which is really required to make sure that the AI is adopted and then thought through. Maybe a quick minute to you, Subhi, to touch upon that, and then we'll close that.
Thank you. I think everything that could be said has already been said, and that's what happens when you come in right in the end. You've also heard me in the morning. Look, for me, there is a lot that is at stake. We're looking at our country's future. And as the Honorable Minister rightly pointed out, we cannot play catch up. When this is concerned, the most important part that we must remember that artificial intelligence is a great leveler. It is also something that everybody has argued for in deepening democracy. which is where companies and innovators like InMobi come in. We don't have a pony in the race. We're not selling a solution. So we can speak from the passion and our mindsets where we want tech to work for good. And if you can only solve for three things, as a lot of us have already alluded to, you need trusted architecture. If people who are experiencing and coming online for the first time and they believe that they're victims of a phishing scam, the idea that you will fall because we are still learning, but somebody is there to hold your hand. So how do we make sure grievance redressal? We had an excellent presentation. How do we make sure recourse is at hand? It is simple, it is accessible, it is in a language where both of you can have a conversation and a dialogue with each other. So as long as we have people like the one sitting on my left, at the heart of any technology, basic empathy and use case scenarios have to be placed. The second most important thing is interoperability. When it comes to government, you're also going to be our first port of call when it comes to technologies which are indigenous or startups are developing. So you have to be the first consumer, you have to be the first supporter. And lastly, AI governance, which is what we've sort of spoken about the least. We ran the main session at the India Impact Summit on responsible AI. And it has to be due, it has to be proportionate, it needs to be technology neutral, platform neutral, people first. If we are able to solve for this, we've got phenomenal leaders who are, they have their ears closer to the ground, they're doing yeoman service. There's nothing more, you know, when you talk about fixing things, there's nothing more that the industry or the people can ask for. So what India does not need is technology for technology. What you need is technology that puts people at the heart and that looks at a solutions approach which is not leaving anyone behind. Much like what Mahatma Gandhi ji said, we're looking at Antodaya, we're looking at last mile connectivity. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. You made my life easy. First of all, I don't have that liberty, so Fam is behind me. So with your permission, maybe I'll just want to wrap this up. Thank you for all your deep insights, most important, the passionate ones. Okay, that's really love it. Thank you, and thanks for the rest of the day. Thank you.